Hi everyone, I'm Wendy, and today I have a What I Ate video for you. Now, the What I Eat in a Day videos that I do tend to be my most popular videos, and they're great to give you meal ideas, but they're really just a snapshot in time, and it doesn't really show you how I'm cooking and eating on a regular basis. So that's what I'm doing in today's video. I'm going to be showing you what I've been eating over the last several weeks. And we also just started getting our CSA produce, so I'll talk about that as well. CSA is Community Supported Agriculture, and so every week I get fresh produce from a local farmer. So let's get right into it. Week 1 of the CSA, we got a bag of mixed salad greens, a couple heads of lettuce, a couple bunches of green onions or scallions, a couple heads of bok choy, and a bag of spinach. Of course, we used the lettuce and salad greens to make salads, along with some of the green onions. I used the spinach in smoothies, and then my mom and I used the green onions and the bok choy in a stir fry. We chopped onions, garlic, mushrooms, and carrots. We'll also be adding some kidney beans to this stir fry. And we're using these brown rice and buckwheat soba noodles. I added all the onions, garlic, mushrooms, and carrots to the skillet, and with the bok choy, I like to separate the stems from the leaves. So I chopped up the stems and added them to the skillet with the other vegetables to cook everything down. Then we added a little bit of granulated garlic, some freshly grated ginger, a little bit of coconut aminos, and rice vinegar. We started cooking the soba noodles, then we added the leafy part of the bok choy along with the kidney beans to the stir fry. When the noodles were done, we added them right into the stir fry. Then we had that with a few chopped peanuts on top, and using some of our CSA greens, we had a little side salad with it. Then that week I had to get a little dental procedure done, so chewing was a little difficult. That day I decided to make a salad smoothie. That's right, I literally just blended up my salad and drank it as a smoothie. I've never done this before, but I had heard of other people doing it, so I thought I would give it a try. I was a little worried because all I had left for the leafy part of the salad was the mixed greens from the CSA. And that's a mix of many different bitter greens, so I worried that the smoothie would be very bitter. But I added those along with cucumbers, celery, tomatoes, bell peppers, and I added an apple for a little bit of sweetness, some pumpkin seeds for a little richness, and I blended it with water and a little lemon juice. It's definitely not the prettiest smoothie ever, but I was pleasantly surprised. I don't know if it's because I'm already used to putting so many greens in my smoothies anyway, but I thought this was so delicious. It didn't taste bitter to me at all, and it was really refreshing. It literally tasted like a salad. I just didn't have to chew it, which was kind of nice. So I may be doing this more in the future if I'm ever in a rush and don't have time to chew my big salad. Before we get to the next week, I wanted to jump in and remind you that I started an email newsletter. So if you want to sign up for that, click or tap the word "more" below the video and you'll find the link to sign up. And if you've been looking forward to when my t-shirts will be for sale, sign up for the newsletter to be the first to get your hands on one. Now let's get back to the video. The first few weeks of the CSA are usually heavy with greens, so we got a lot of the same things in week 2. More green onions, spinach, bok choy, heads of lettuce, and a mix of salad greens. That week we also got a bunch of radishes and some cilantro. Unfortunately, my family got the cilantro tastes like soap gene, so we're not the biggest fans of cilantro. I like to use a little bit of it mixed into other recipes, but a whole bunch like this was a little too much for us. I ended up throwing it into a smoothie though, which was interesting. It did have a very strong cilantro flavor, but mixed with all of my other greens and fruit, it was pretty good. So once again, I also made lots of salads. This week I added crumbled tofu and a ranch-style homemade dressing. I'm still working out that recipe, but I'll share it at some point. For the tofu, I simply crumbled it and mixed it with the pepperoni spice from local spicery. And then I baked it until crispy. I also love keeping cooked potatoes in the fridge. These are some Yukon Gold potatoes I baked in the oven along with my tofu, and I had a couple of them with that salad. Then we still hadn't used up all of the green onions from the previous week, and we got more, so I needed to use some of those up. I simply chopped them up and cooked them with some frozen spinach, some garlic, and white beans. Then I added nutritional yeast and stone ground mustard. I cooked up some noodles. These are made out of lentils, peas, and cauliflower, and while those were cooking, I reserved a little bit of the cooking liquid to add to my spinach sauce. Then I blended that up and mixed the noodles in. I topped that with a homemade vegan Parmesan, and it turned out all right. I think I used an entire bag of frozen spinach, so it was quite spinachy, but it was pretty good. And I will include a link to a blog post below the video with these recipes, But just keep in mind, they're very loose recipes, intended more for inspiration rather than something to follow exactly. Then we got a huge haul our third week of the CSA. More lettuce, spinach, bok choy, mixed greens, and radishes. And then on the bottom left, those look like green onions, but that's actually green garlic. You use it basically how you would use green onions, but it has a garlicky flavor. Then this week we also got some turnips. I'm not sure how you pronounce this variety. It starts with an H. I'll put it up on the screen for you. But they have a very mild flavor and they're great to eat raw in salads, so that's what I did. I also had a little bit of that pepperoni flavored tofu left over, so I made tacos using some of that gorgeous lettuce we got that week. Then here are a couple other salads I made, and on another day I made black bean tacos using more of the beautiful lettuce and another salad to go along with it. For dessert, I had a baked Japanese sweet potato, which I topped with chopped dates and a shaved Brazil nut. One great thing about getting local produce is when you get things like radishes and turnips, you also get the leafy tops. And these are delicious sauteed with onions and garlic. So here I have the tops of the radishes. I started by sauteing the onions, then I added the green garlic from the CSA, and finally wilted in the radish tops. They cooked down to almost nothing. I ate that along with a chickpea salad sandwich in a whole wheat pita pocket. That recipe is from Well Your World, and I'll put a link to that below. Then I did the exact same thing with the tops of the turnips. I like to chop it up into little ribbons and once again cook it with some onions. And once again I added some more of the green garlic, and that day I had the sauteed turnip greens with mashed potatoes and gravy and some baked tofu that my mom had made. These were just little chunks of tofu that she had left over from a different recipe, and with the leftover pieces she marinated it with coconut aminos, balsamic vinegar, garlic powder, and liquid smoke. Then she baked it until crispy. That week I used some of the bok choy to make smoothies. I added bok choy, soybeans, frozen banana, frozen mango, fresh ginger, and water. And again, I thought this one might be a little bitter, but I didn't really taste the bok choy at all. It was a really refreshing and delicious smoothie. With the rest of the bok choy, we made another stir fry. This time with carrots, onions, different colored bell peppers, and the bok choy stems. We sauteed that and added some leftover green onions and the green garlic. And this time we used chickpeas instead of kidney beans. We slightly mashed the chickpeas just to change up the texture. Then we added the leafy tops of the bok choy along with the chickpeas, covered it to steam and wilt the greens, and once again we simply used coconut aminos and rice vinegar. And this time we added black rice ramen noodles. These cook so quickly and they're great to keep on hand for quick meals. Once the noodles were cooked, we added them right into the stir fry and served it up. This time we topped it with sesame seeds. So that's what I've been eating for the last couple of weeks. Let me know down in the comments if you like this style of video and I can do more. I hope you'll give this video a thumbs up if you got some ideas, and don't forget to sign up for my newsletter if you want to get updates from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.